Golden Radio Hour.
The challenge of the Yukon.
I'm king of you Husky!
King, the swiftest, strongest of Eskimo lead dogs, blazes the trail through storm and snow for Sergeant Preston as he meets the challenge of the Yukon. Sergeant Preston was typical of the small band of Northwest Mounted Police who preserved law and order in the Yukon during the gold rush of '98. That was the year that brought over 50,000 men swarming into the Klondike region, and the greed for gold led to frequent violence and bloodshed. But in spite of the odds against them, the force preserved a splendid record in maintaining the right. The challenge of the North was answered, and justice ruled triumphant. It was early afternoon, and Sergeant Preston was on patrol duty in the Yukon with his lead dog, the Great King. The snow was swept clean from much of the land, and Preston had left his sled and team in town.
What is it, King? All right, King, you lead the way. Going after something, but I can't make out what it is. He's following a scent. It'll be a good idea to see what it leads to. All right, boy, I'm coming. Yes, I see, King. Footprints, huh? Oh, that's strange. Snow's partially covered those tracks. But it's worth investigating. The wind swept this land clean. The tracks stop. King, old fellow, you'll have to lead from here on. That cave over there? Is that where you're going, King? Well, King, you've never been wrong before. Whatever's in that cave must be pretty important. This is one place we've missed on our patrols, King. Here's some wood. Someone uses this cave. But what for? Now look at these pelts. Fox, lynx, beaver. Why, they're beautiful. Trapper who uses this cave for a storeroom has certainly got a fortune in furs. One man couldn't have... Well, this cave is full of pelts. Yes, King? What's over there now? Oh, I see. So this is what had you so excited, boy. Now, what would any trapper with these rich skins be doing with dog and wolf pelts? They have no value. I can understand a trapper building up a supply of high-grade pelts, but why would he keep so many of these worthless ones? What is it, Boyden? Someone coming? Yes, King. There's something wrong here. We can't get out without being discovered. We'll get back at the far end of the cave. Here. You should be safe here. Now play dead, King. Play dead, boy.
Well, this is another bunch we'll catch you now.
That's the last of them, thank heaven. I'm so tired hauling these pelts.
Hauling's almost over now. Take one more load of dog and wolf skins to the storehouse, and then the whole thing can go up in smoke.
Yeah. Those trappers, they'll take it mighty hard. It's a good thing you made them sign those contracts.
Our agreements will make us rich. We don't pay till a shipment is made.
That contract was the smartest thing you ever put together, Vance.
I'm jack of all trades, and it pays to know a little about them all. I didn't have much to do with any law, but I can draw up a watertight contract. And there's not a thing any of those trappers can do to break their agreements.
Just look at that beaver skin. It's a beauty.
Yeah, it's a beauty, all right. We're sitting mighty pretty. Look at those fox pelts.
These skins will bring a fortune.
Yeah? We have a gold mine in the fur business.
All them trappers need is to hear the prices we pay for the skins, and they're bringing the best ones to us in carloads.
The best part of it is we pay when shipment's made, and we never ship.
We can't tote these wolf and dog skins to the warehouse till dark, Vance.
No, we might as well stay right here till sundown.
I'll start a fire.
Wait a minute. Leave that firewood alone. Let me listen.
What's eating you, Vance?
There's someone in this cave.
Oh, who could be?
There's someone in here, I tell you.
Listen, Vance, there ain't a soul knows about this cave. Well, we can look around just to make sure if it'll make you feel any better.
It's no joke, Duval. I know there's someone in here.
You got a sixth sense, Vance.
You go along that wall. I'll take this side.
Well, there's so many parts of this cave we can look all night and still not be anywhere.
Shut up.
I don't know what's got into you lately, Vance. You was never so edgy before.
Come out with your hands up. It'll go a lot easier with you.
I ain't gonna walk into our arms, Vance. If there is somebody in here, you know that.
And we'll search this cave till we find him. Come on.
I don't know where he gets these ideas. Someone in the cave. He's taking this thing pretty serious.
That's a warning. Come out with your hands up.
You shot loose in some rocks.
Oh.
Hey, what the...
I told you there was somebody in here. Now bring that light over. I've got a gun and I'm going to use it.
Maybe some of that rock hit him, Vance.
Hurry up with that light.
Jumping horn-toad's a mountie.
Well, I never expected to meet Sergeant Preston knocked out by a couple of falling rocks. Come on, Duval. We'll tie him up before he regains consciousness.
Here's some of that rope we used to tie the pelts together.
That'll be all right. If that mutt moves, shoot him. There, that does it. You'd have a hard time getting free of these ropes.
Oh, my head.
Shut up, you mutt.
King, old fella.
We gotta do something about this mountie, Vance. You heard us talking.
Don't worry, we'll take care of him. Shoot that mutt, Duval.
Quiet, King.
Call him out here.
All right, King. Come on out, boy.
Shoot him, Duval.
Oh, now, Vance.
You heard me. Are you going to shoot him or will I?
Make a break for it, King. Go on, boy.
Well, get him.
No, you won't, Vance. You're not going to kill King.
Go ahead, shoot Duval.
No use, Vance. He's clean away.
If you'd have shot him when I told you.
King. Hey, King, is that the dog?
Yeah, that's the smartest lead dog in the Yukon. And now he's going to bring help, thanks to you.
We better get rid of this mountie fast then, Vance.
Sure, fine. Have you got any ideas?
Put a couple of bullets in him right now.
You should have thought of that when the dog was here. No, it's suicide to kill a Mountie.
You'll never get away with this.
Listen, Preston. This is one time you're not holding the gun. You'll die all right, but without bullet marks on you.
You can't win, Vance. Sometime and soon the inspector will send one of the other Mounties to see what's happened.
Let him. By that time, Duval and me will be so far out of the Yukon, your law will never catch up with us. Now, don't worry. When you're found, Preston, it's not going to look like murder.
What do you aim to do with him, Vance?
We'll gag him and take him for a walk.
You mean...
Yes. We'll have to go ahead with our plans tonight. We can't waste any time. That dog will have someone back here in a few hours.
You're right. Let's pack up these furs and get moving.
Late that night, with heavy packs on their shoulders, Vance and Duval sneaked into Machete and forced Preston at the point of a gun to go ahead of them.
We'll go right to the warehouse.
Yeah. The sooner we get there, the better. I don't like going through the town carrying this stuff.
Don't worry, no one will stop us.
I'm thinking about that dog.
Once Preston's out of the way, our troubles are over. Of course, it'd be different if that mutt could talk. Here we are.
I never was so glad to see any place in all my life. This Mountie was downright obedient.
Throw him down on top of some of those worthless pelts, then tie his feet.
All right, Mountie. You won't be able to move when I finish tying this.
We'll put a lot of these dog skins around him.
You figure
We
he
want Sergeant Preston's death in the fire to look real. We want to be sure there's not a chance for him to get out alive.
I get you, Vance. That way you can say he was caught trying to save someone from the burning warehouse, huh? Good idea.
Someone in this outfit has got to get ideas. Come on, Duval. We'll put some of this oil around.
That ought to be enough, Vance.
Yeah, that'll do it. Now I'll take this lamp.
Those skins burn plenty fast.
This place will be an inferno in 5 minutes.
Less than that. Come on, let's get out of here.
You don't want to be too close to this place when the fire is discovered.
Attracted first by the red glow of the flames against the darkness of the night, men poured from ramshackle buildings surrounding the warehouse and watched the fire. They knew the furs inside were lost. They knew that the cost of the damage would break many a trapper's heart. But they didn't know that inside the building, Sergeant Preston lay bound and gagged, helpless in the face of certain death. A tall, lanky trapper came from Machete City's cafe. The expression on his face told the story more eloquently than words.
Hey, all my furs are in there.
Yeah, look at them flames.
I'm going in there.
You're local if you do. You'll never get out alive.
My warehouse. We're ruined.
Ain't a chance in the world of saving anything.
Duval, if that building caves in, we haven't a chance.
Yes, and it's gone. My furs.
Man, listen to me.
You better make good on them furs, Vance.
What are you going to do about it, Vance?
Boys, I'm sorry.
What about us?
Vance, we won't lose everything, will we?
What
Wait a
about
minute.
us? What are you
Listen
gonna
to
do
me.
about it?
You men all signed agreements with us. We agreed to pay when we ship the furs. If the furs aren't shipped, we don't pay.
You mean I've lost a whole year's trap in that fire and I get nothing to show for it?
I'm sorry, Hankins, but there's not a thing we can do about it.
We lost the warehouse.
There goes the building.
That does it, Duval. Preston's covered with red-hot embers by now.
I gotta hand it to you, Vance.
Well, Hankins, what was in that warehouse is just a hopeless loss now.
You ought to give us at least a quarter of what our furs were worth, Vance. If we'd have taken them to Hudson Bay Company, we'd
Well,
have
you
gotten...
didn't take him to the Hudson Bay Company. Why do you suppose you pay such high prices? We got competition to meet. We meet it the best way we know how, that's with highest prices. We don't allow a cent for any losses.
You don't have to take a loss, Hank.
Preston.
No, wait, I'm seeing things.
How did that
You're
money...
not seeing things, Duval, but you soon will be. The inside of a jail.
That mutt, he must...
Yes, Vance, thanks to King here, I got out of that burning warehouse. He chewed through the ropes.
What did you mean, Sergeant? You said I don't have to take no loss.
I meant just what I said, Hankins. Your furs, together with the furs of the other trappers, are all safe in a cave about 2 miles from here.
Well, how be... Vance said...
Vance and Duval are under arrest.
You'll have to prove your story first, Mounty.
I'll prove it. Hankins, I'll take you to that cave where you'll find your furs.
Well, it ain't no crime to put furs in the cave. And as for yourself, Mounty, you can't prove...
Maybe I can't prove you tried to kill me, Duval.
You have no charge, Preston, you know it. You can't prove we burned down our own warehouse. We didn't know the furs had been transferred to the cave. Someone else did it.
Yeah, that's right. We didn't know nothing about it.
You have agreements with these trappers to pay them high prices when you ship. You agreed to those high prices because you didn't expect to pay them. But we'll make sure you ship now, and the law will see you stand by every word of your agreement.
Sergeant, that contract gives him 30 days to ship.
Don't worry, Hankins. They'll ship in 30 days, all right. And you'll have your money. Yes, King, the case is closed. Upholding the motto of the Northwest Mounted Police, Sergeant Preston and the Great Dog King maintain the right and get their man. Don't miss their next thrilling adventure when they meet the challenge of the Yukon once again on Saturday at 6:30.
On King! On you husky!
Challenge of the Yukon, a copyrighted feature of the Challenge of the Yukon Incorporated, brought to you every Saturday at this time, originated in the transcription studios of WXYZ Detroit. The characters and events in tonight's drama were fictitious. Bill Morgan speaking. This is the Michigan Radio Network. The Challenge of the Yukon.
Oh, King, on you husky!
King, the swiftest, strongest of Eskimo lead dogs, blazes the trail through storm and snow for Sergeant Preston as he meets the Challenge of the Yukon. Sergeant Preston was typical of the small band of Northwest Mounted Police who preserved law and order in the Yukon during the gold rush of '98. That was the year that brought over 50,000 men swarming into the Klondike region, and the greed for gold led to frequent violence and bloodshed. But in spite of the odds against them, the force preserved a splendid record in maintaining the right. The challenge of the North was answered, and justice ruled triumphant. Driving, ceaseless snow made the vast Yukon a blurred mass of whiteness. But even the fury of the storm could not obscure the natural protection of a group of huge rocks that shut out the merciless winds. It was there that two men crouched, guns within easy reach, while they rubbed their hands together for warmth.
You picked a fine day to do this job, Manny. I ain't seen weather like this since I come to the Yukon.
Listen, Tom, you know the reason we're here. I can't help it if Jim Glynn always drives into Melville City on Wednesdays, can I? Rain, snow, or shine don't make no difference to him.
It'll have to be a plenty rich haul to be worth freezing to death.
Glynn's carrying the finest lot of furs this side of the Great Divide. I know that for a fact.
Well, he's done his last bit of trapping. You see him coming yet, Manny?
I can't see far beyond these rocks. You ought to be along. You know, Tom, I don't like the idea of doing away with Glynn.
Ain't no other way to get our hands on them furs, is there?
No.
Well, then.
Murder's the one thing we ain't done, Tom.
Only because we could get what we wanted without it. The other robberies were easy.
Yeah.
Ain't he coming yet?
Yeah. I think that's a sled along there, but it's too far away to be sure.
Yeah, wait a minute. Let me see. Ever since you had that touch of snow blindness, you can't tell a man from a grizzly at 30 feet. I think he's coming, Manny.
Yeah.
We'll wait till he's alongside of these rocks, then
And we'll open up on him, huh?
That's the idea. Got your gun ready?
Yeah.
Well, we just wait now and surprise Mr. Glynn. He's making right good time.
Yeah. He's got a good set of dogs. What are you grinning at?
Jim Glynn racing like that to the bullet.
This ain't no time for jokes, Tom. Sometimes
Take it easy, kid. Here he comes now. Get ready.
Mush you all of them! Mush!
That did it.
Come on, Tom. Let's get those furs and get out of here.
Watch out for that lead dog there, Manny. He's loose.
All right. But I want to get these furs onto our sled.
Look out, Manny. He's going to jump.
Oh! Get down, you mutt! Oh, let go of my hand! Oh!
Nice shot, Manny.
Nice shot. That mutt tore my hand.
Say, he sure got you. Here, let me help you.
I'll have to put a bandage of some kind on till we get to town.
It'll be a while before you'll be able to do much with this hand, Manny.
I'll take care of it when we get back to town. Come on, Tom.
The snow covered tracks almost as soon as they were made, so Sergeant Preston, heading for Melville City, had no way of knowing that he was trailing a murdered man. But as they neared the rocks, the great dog King sensed death in the air.
What is it, King, huh? All right, fella, you lead the way. Oh, you huskies. Ho, boys. Why, King, there's nothing but snow. Nuzzling around this snow won't get... King, there's a body here. So this is why you... Why, it's Jim Glynn. He must have been... But why? Shot through the heart. And his dog. So they killed the dog, too. And no wonder you were excited, boy. He's following tracks over to those rocks. Oh, now I begin to see. Tracks here haven't been covered by the snow. Sheltered by rocks. Those two men were standing here.
They waited here till Jim Glynn was practically in front of them before they fired. Jim didn't have a chance. If they waited here, then they must have... But it's hard to tell which way they went.
Well, King, what have you found now? Oh, more tracks, huh? Yeah. Here's a bandana. CN. CN. Now, who could... Newton. Cy Newton. He pulled in here about the same time the two other fellows were here. The tracks don't differ. They're about the same depth. King, we're going to Melville City to call on Cy at the Silver Lantern Cafe.
Cy Newton sat at the table in a back room of the Silver Lantern Cafe, resting his head on his hands. In spite of the fact that it was early afternoon, the sun had already gone down. The glimmer of the dingy light thrown from the sputtering oil lamp showed where Cy's Mackinaw lay in a corner of the room, wet with melted snow.
Oh, Cy. I didn't know you were here.
Hello, Manny.
What's the matter? You look like you got something on your mind.
I have.
Well, what is it? Business is good, ain't it?
What happened to your hand?
Oh, one of them stray mutts bit me. I've got to fix the dressing.
He sure tore into you.
Yeah, I guess he belongs to one of the trappers out front.
Ain't no use lying to me, Manny.
Lying, do you?
Yeah, I know how you got that dog bite.
I don't savvy what you're driving at. Come on, we'll have a few drinks. You're just down in the dumps.
No, Manny, I ain't just down in the dumps. I know how you got that dog bite, and I know where you got it.
What do you mean?
I mean we're through, Manny. I've been keeping quiet for a long time now, but there's a limit to everything. What I saw today was...
All right,
enough to-
Cy, let's have it. Come on.
Well, I knew when you was taking cash from the safe, Manny. But I figured if you needed it, that was your business, so I didn't say anything. Then you started bringing them low-down friends of yours in here.
You better be careful what you say, Cy.
I'm getting this off my chest, and then you're getting out of here. Even when them mangy-looking crooks was fleecing everyone who'd play a game of poker with them. Because they was your friends, it was all right.
And as long as I got half interest in this cafe, they can still come here.
If you're smart, you'll get out of the Yukon, Manny. When them fur robberies started, I didn't connect anything at first. That is, I didn't till you began flashing around so much extra money.
I won that money at poker.
You ain't never held a winning poker hand in your life, and you know it. But I got all I can take this morning. I was at Split Rocks, Manny, and I saw what happened to Jim Glynn.
Why, you...
Oh, don't worry, I'll keep quiet. You're clearing out of this cafe. You and all your friends, Manny. You and me are through, do you hear? I don't care if I ever see you again.
Not gonna be that...
Manny and Cy didn't realize that as they talked, their voices took on the loud, argumentative ring that carried to the ears of Manny's friends, playing poker in the back of the cafe.
Well...
It's us, Manny.
The door opened, and led by Tom Bryant, 6 men filed into the room, their hands resting on their guns. Cy's appraisal of their worth left no margin for improvement. The dregs of the Yukon stood in that room, and Cy, as he glanced over the lot of them, shivered.
Well,
We thought you might...
this is a private argument. You boys can clear out.
They can clear right out of the cafe while they're at it. Are you going to tell them, Manny, or will I?
You'll regret this,
I
Cy.
ain't regretting nothing. Only thing I'm sorry for is the day we went into business together.
I think we better stick around, boys.
Now get out, all of you.
You can't prove a thing, Cy.
I can prove everything I said. That hand of
I
yours was...
told you you'd better get him out of the way. If you won't drop him, I will. What the? My arm! Let go of my arm! You...
I'm going to finish you off right now.
Drop that gun, Manny.
Why, you yellow skunk.
You ain't hit, Manny?
Manny. Manny.
No, you don't. You've done what you set out to.
Here, let me see that man.
You better take care of Newton, Mounty. You still got life in him. Come on, Rube. After you two help me carry him out.
Just a minute.
All right, boys, come on.
Yes, King, I know. We shouldn't have let them get away. There's something mighty strange here. think this might be the best way to get to the bottom of it.
Oh, my head.
It'll be all right, Si. Got a nasty bump there.
You saw it all, Sergeant Preston.
No, Si, I didn't see it all. I saw Manny draw his gun. Next thing I knew, you'd fired, and Bryant rushed up to Manny before he fell.
Oh, I did it all right. I killed him, Sergeant.
Now, listen, Si. I want you to tell me exactly what happened. From the beginning.
Then when I tried to go up to him, Bryant...
Yes, I know. Bryant's pretty free with his fists.
I didn't aim to do no shooting. I didn't even think I hit him when he dropped.
You couldn't hit the front of a house at 10 feet, Si.
What are you looking for, Sergeant?
Manny drew first. I saw him.
Yeah, but what's that got to do with it? He could have easy killed me and... Oh, well. I guess it's up to you now, Sergeant. I'll just come along with you.
Wait a minute.
Well, I'm under arrest, ain't I?
Well, I can't arrest you till Manny's proven dead. Now, let's see. You were standing right here.
I can't see what you're driving at. It seems to me...
You stand here, Si.
Here?
Yes. Now... I thought so.
What?
I've got a murderer to catch, Si, and I need your help.
A rumor spread through Melville City like wildfire. As one man told another, the story gained importance. Soon, even the most incredulous of the miners were repeating the news. Sergeant Preston brought Jim Glynn into Melville City on his sled. Jim, badly wounded, was being cared for in a room at the Silver Lantern, and Si was held in jail.
Will he be able to name the men who robbed him, Sergeant?
If Jim Glynn is able to speak, he'll undoubtedly name the men who tried to murder him.
The miners and trappers who frequented the Silver Lantern speculated. Was Si responsible for the robbery as well as for the murder of Manny?
Si confessed yet, Sergeant?
Si refuses to talk.
Did you hear the news, Manny?
Yeah.
Preston's waiting for Jim Glynn to talk.
I wonder if Glynn saw us.
We can't take no chances. He might have had a good long look at us while we was low in our sled.
What do you aim to do?
We'll make sure he don't talk.
Late the next night, two men approached the back entrance to the Silver Lantern Cafe.
Lucky you had that key, Manny.
Yeah. Si ain't been around to change the lock.
You can't change much when you're in jail.
Come on, let's get this over with. I don't know why you're so dead set in making sure you get him this time.
You ain't got a thing to worry about. As far as everybody knows, you're dead. But if Glynn talks, I'll be the one to be jailed for that shooting.
That Mountie hadn't picked him up.
Come on. He ought to be in this room. He's sleeping. He'll never know what hit him.
Go on. Let him have it before he wakes up.
You're covered. Drop that gun, Bryant.
Preston.
Reckon I can get up now, eh, Sergeant?
Yes, Si. You can help tie your ghost friend here. So you're very much alive, Manny.
I thought...
You believed that story about Jim Glynn being still alive, didn't you?
You brought him in on your sled.
We brought Jim's body to Melville City. Then Si told the barkeep we'd use the back room here for Jim till he recovered.
We've been tricked.
You ain't been tricked any worse than you tried to trick me, you low-down skunks. I'd have hung for killing you, Manny.
You're under arrest, both of you.
You'll have to get me first, Mountie.
I'll shoot, Manny.
Let go. All right, now shoot, Mountie. If you do, you'll hit Si.
Go on, Sergeant. Shoot.
Yeah, shoot. I'm getting out of here, see? I'm using Si for a shield.
Had him, King. Get him, boy.
Oh, my hand. Let go of my hand.
Here, Si, you keep this gun on Bryant. All right, King.
Oh.
That's the second dog to catch your left hand, isn't it, Manny? You're under arrest. Yes, King, the case is closed.
Challenge of the Yukon, a copyrighted feature of the Challenge of the Yukon Incorporated, brought to you every Saturday at this time, originated in the transcription studios of WXYZ Detroit. The characters and events in tonight's drama were fictitious. Bill Morgan speaking. This is the Michigan Radio Network. The challenge of the Yukon. King, the swiftest, strongest of Eskimo lead dogs, blazes the trail through storm and snow for Sergeant Preston as he meets the challenge of the Yukon. Sergeant Preston was typical of the small band of Northwest Mounted Police who preserved law and order in the Yukon during the gold rush of '98. That was the year that brought over 50,000 men swarming into the Klondike region, and the greed for gold led to frequent violence and bloodshed. But in spite of the odds against them, the force preserved a splendid record in maintaining the right. The challenge of the North was answered, and justice ruled triumphant. Sergeant Preston, on patrol duty in the Yukon, made many friends who were always glad to see him. One of these was Ab Crowley, who lived with his wife in a small cabin several miles north of Three Forks. A vicious storm had swept wind and snow in the face of the Mountie as he drove his team toward the small settlement, and the prospect of a warm cup of tea with the Crowleys was something he looked forward to. The great dog King ran ahead of the sled, cutting tracks in the snow.
On King! On you Huskies! Not much further, King. Ah, there's the cabin. It's good to see that light. Oh, King! Oh, you Huskies!
Hey, there's Sergeant Preston.
Hello, Ab. How are you?
Yeah, fine. I'm mighty glad to see you. Come on in and have a cup of tea. Mrs. just made some.
I've been looking forward to having a cup of tea with you ever since I left Broken Wishbone, Ab. How's Mrs. Crowley?
Oh, fine, just fine. We got some good news for you, Sergeant.
Yes? Well, what is it, Ab?
It'll wait for a few minutes. You go on inside. I'll take care of the dogs. You too, King. Go on in there.
All right, King. Thanks, Ab.
Land's sake, Sergeant Preston, sure is good to see you. Come on in here and close that door.
Well, how are you, Mrs. Crowley?
Never been better in my life, Sergeant. Dab tell you the news?
Oh, no, he didn't. He said it could wait till he got inside. Say, what's this all about?
Well, I expect I better let Ab tell you. He's been hankering to tell you ever since we... There, I almost told you myself.
Well, I'm certainly curious. Tell me this much. You both look so pleased. It must be something awfully good, huh?
It is, Sergeant. It's the best thing that's happened to us ever since we came to this snowbound place. There you are.
Oh, thank you. This tea certainly tastes good.
Warms you up after all that cold. I guess Ab will be wanting a cup, too, when he comes in.
Did you tell the sergeant yet, Ada?
Oh, no, she hasn't told me yet, Ab.
Well, I reckon I'll tell you myself, then.
As if you didn't want the pleasure of telling him yourself all along.
Me and Ada just bought the last chance claim.
Last chance?
Yep.
That was Jeb Fisher's claim, wasn't it?
It was. Now it's ours.
Well.
Sakes alive, Sergeant. The cat get your tongue? Can't you say any more than that? I declare, Ab, I knew you'd be surprised, but I never thought
Just how much do you know about the last chance, Ab?
Well, it's a good claim. I saw Jeb turn up some of the dust myself. I think it's a good piece of luck. We, had kind of a hard time meeting Jeb's price, but,
We just took what we'd been saving, and Jeb turned it over to us for the cash.
How much cash?
$12,000. All the money we had. Why, what's wrong, Sergeant?
Well, Ab, I won't congratulate you on your good luck till we make sure it is good luck.
What do you mean, Sergeant?
I don't trust Jeb Fisher, Mrs. Crowley. I'm afraid that claim is worthless. But we'll soon find out.
Worthless?
Of course, I have no proof.
Sergeant, I can't say that I've ever known you to be wrong before. But this is once I think you've made a mistake. Why, I saw that dust myself.
You're no Chichaco, Ab. You know as well as I do that Fisher could have salted that claim.
He could have, Ab. But heaven help us if the sergeant's right.
Heaven helps him that helps themselves, here, gal. I'm going to start in tomorrow working on that ground. You will know how we stand.
Well, that's a good idea, Ab. I'll tell you what I'll do. I have some friends at Three Forks who will be glad to lend a hand.
Well, I don't like to be any trouble to you.
Oh, no trouble at all, Ed. I was headed for Three Forks anyway, so I'll stop to see them.
Well, we'll be looking for you, Sergeant.
Goodbye, Sergeant.
Goodbye. All right, King. Get the dogs up. On King! On you Huskies!
Sergeant Preston entered the Moosehead Cafe in Three Forks a short time later. As he moved through the room, he heard a boisterous laugh.
So I have $12,000 in my pocket, and Crowley's got the deed to the last chance.
You cleaned up on that deal.
Yeah, I sure did.
Poor old Crowley stuck for plenty.
His own fault.
I don't know, Jim.
What do you mean?
Seems to me it's a pretty yellow trick to pull on a couple as old as the Crowleys.
Well, they wanted the last chance, didn't they? I sold it to them.
$12,000 must have been all the money they got in this world.
That don't mean nothing to me.
Don't you feel at all sorry for folks like them?
No, why should I? It was a business deal, that's all. I buy and sell property. Ain't none of my business how people get the money to pay for it, as long as it's cash on the line. You're loco, Sam.
Yeah, I guess I just don't see things the way you do.
Now listen and take it from me. You'll never get far in the Yukon if you go around feeling sorry for every guy that gets stuck.
You're Jeb Fisher, aren't you?
Why, yeah. What do you want with me, Monty?
I understand Abner Crowley just bought your last chance claim.
Yep.
Fisher, you know there's no gold on that land.
I don't know nothing about that land. I sold him the property. We turned up gold on it.
You've sold it claims before.
Crowley bought that claim, and I didn't guarantee nothing in writing.
Whether you guarantee it or not, Crowley believes there's gold on that property.
Then let him dig for it. Who knows? Maybe he'll find it.
You oughtn't to talk to him like that, Jeb.
Why not? The law ain't got nothing on me.
The next day, at the last chance claim, not far from Abner Crowley's cabin, 6 men helped the old miner work his newly acquired land.
Yeah. What's the matter, Ab? Ain't getting tired, are you?
Me? No.
Well, what's wrong?
You know, Rob, Sergeant Preston told me this land was probably worthless. I'm afraid he's right.
Oh, well, now, Ab, I wouldn't be too ready to give up. Me and the boys will stay around as long as you need us.
Well, I don't like to...
Now, don't you worry, Ab. Mrs. Crowley fixes better chow we've had in a year Sundays at Three Forks. Well, I believe that's a sergeant coming now.
Looks like it is.
Hey there, Sergeant.
Ho, King. Ho, you Huskies. Hello, Sergeant. Well, Rob, see you kept your word.
Yep, we've been pretty busy, all right.
How's it going, Ab?
Well, Sergeant, I think maybe you was right.
Why, Ab?
Poor Ada. I'll have to tell her we paid our $12,000 for a worthless piece of earth.
All right. I told him, Sergeant, not to be so willing to give up.
I'm not surprised, Ab.
No, you told me, but I wouldn't believe you. Well, there's nothing for us to do now.
I'm not so sure about that. Rob and I talked it over yesterday. And here's our plan.
A rumor of gold in the Yukon always spread like wildfire. A word dropped in a conversation, sudden activity in a place that had formerly been deserted, and an old miner in town spending money freely. Any one of these things were enough to start men talking, telling exaggerated stories of a new gold discovery. So when old Abner Crowley, long known for the quiet and thrifty way he lived, went into Three Forks carrying a poke of gold dust, the word spread that the last chance claim held fabulous amounts of the precious dust.
You hear the news, Jeb?
What news?
About the last chance paying out.
Yeah, I heard it.
But I thought you said...
No matter what I said.
Did you know it
Oh,
had...
shut up, Sam.
Oh, I begin to see.
Shut up, I tell you.
And you thought you took old Abner.
I didn't know the last chance was a strike.
You're darn tootin' you didn't know it.
It'd have never gotten out of your hands if you'd thought that.
I'd give anything to get that claim back. What a fool I was.
All right, boys. Have another drink. It's all on me. You too, Rob. Have what you want.
Thanks, Ab. Don't mind if I do. Ever since you struck it at the last chance...
That's right. The sky's the limit.
Hello there, Ab.
Why, Jeb Fisher. The man that sold me the last chance. My best friend.
We always thought you was a good businessman, Jeb. What happened to you?
Well, you know how it is. Ab, I'd like to talk to you.
What do you want to talk about, Jeb? Ain't got much time, you know. Got to get back to the last chance. Me and Ada.
Yeah, I know. But I'd like to talk to you.
Well, all right. Come on, Rob.
Yeah, sure. Where do you want to talk, Jeb?
Let's go in the back room where we won't be disturbed.
Suit you, Rob?
Well, why not?
Yeah, there now. Nobody will bother us in here. Have a chair, boy.
Sure, thank you.
Well, what's on your mind, Jeb?
Ab, when I sold you the last chance, I told you I was planning to leave the Yukon.
Yep, that's right, you did, Jeb.
Well, a few things have happened since then, and I've changed my mind. I'm staying here, and I'd like to have the last chance back. You see, when I sold it to you, I thought I was leaving, and I wanted to get my affairs straightened up.
Yeah, Jeb, a deal's a deal. I bought the last chance.
I know how you feel. You paid me $12,000 for the last chance.
Yep, cash at that.
I'll pay you $15,000 to get it back.
Nope, not interested.
$16,000.
Now, listen, Jeb. If you was in my place, would you sell her?
I'll make it $18,000, Ab.
Nope, I don't want to.
It costs plenty to work a mine, you know, Ab. I'll give you $20,000 in cash for that claim.
Pretty anxious to get it back, ain't you, Jeb?
Hello, Ab.
Hello, Sergeant.
Fisher, what are you doing here?
Trying to make a deal with Ab here, Mountie.
What sort of a deal, Ab?
Now, you keep out of this, Mountie.
Jeb wants to buy back the last chance claim, Sergeant.
Well...
I'll pay him cash for it.
Jeb, I think I'll take you up on that. Ada and me are getting old. I ought to clear out of the Yukon and let the younger man work the last chance.
Glad you feel that way about it, Ab. I'll be right back with the money. The money here will witness the sale.
What to tell you, Ab?
Yep. Hope he don't take too long getting that money.
Sam will have the money here in a minute, Ab. Yes, sir, I think you're being right smart about it.
I hope so, Jeb. I certainly wish you the same kind of luck I had with the last chance.
Yeah.
Here, Jeb.
Oh, well, here you are, Ab. It's all there. Count it if you want.
You better count it, Ab.
Yep, all here. Well, Jeb, last chance is yours again. Here's the deed. Now, Rob, here's that $5,000 to pay back the boys for the gold they lent me and for working at the claim.
The gold they lent you?
Sure. I figured to look like a man that struck it rich, I ought to have some gold, so they got together and lent it to me.
Look like a man that... Say, what is this? You mean you didn't get that gold from the last chance?
We ain't found any gold in it yet, Jeb.
Why, you said...
I didn't say nothing, Jeb. You came to me wanting to buy back the last chance, and I sold it to you.
I've been swindled. You led me to believe you found gold there.
If what you told me when you sold it was true, the gold's still there. I tell you, we ain't touched any of it.
Why, you out?
I wouldn't do that if I were you, Jeb. That was a fair sale. I saw it myself.
Looks like you're stuck with your own bargain, Jeb.
There's not a thing you can do about it.
All right, boys, come on outside. This time I'll treat you the best in the house, and I'll pay for it with my money.
Well, looks like Abner Crowley came out all right after all. Yes, King, the case is closed.
Challenge of the Yukon, a copyrighted feature of the Challenge of the Yukon Incorporated, brought to you every Saturday at this time, originated in the transcription studios of WXYZ Detroit. The characters and events in tonight's drama were fictitious. Bill Morgan speaking. This is the Michigan Radio Network. The challenge of the Yukon. King, the swiftest, strongest of Eskimo lead dogs, blazes the trail through storm and snow for Sergeant Preston as he meets the challenge of the Yukon. Sergeant Preston was typical of the small band of Northwest Mounted Police who preserved law and order in the Yukon during the gold rush of '98. That was the year that brought over 50,000 men swarming into the Klondike region, and the greed for gold led to frequent violence and bloodshed. But in spite of the odds against them, the force preserved a splendid record in maintaining the right. The challenge of the North was answered, and justice ruled triumphant. As Sergeant Preston pulled into Cass City, a sharp wind cut alongside the frame building that sheltered the group of men standing in its protection. So deep were they in conversation that curious passers-by joined them, and in turn were caught up in a heated discussion.
I tell you, all I had to see was them prints.
Ain't nobody in the Yukon with feet that big.
But why'd Ben Barton want to kill Matt Lawson? Don't make much sense to me. I heard Ben tell Lawson he'd get him when they had that fight in the cafe yesterday afternoon. He sure didn't waste much time.
Hey, here comes Sergeant Preston. Sergeant Preston! Hey, Sergeant Preston!
Oh, King. Oh, you husky.
It's a good thing he's here.
Hello, boys. What's the meeting about?
Oh, ain't you heard?
Matt Lawson was murdered.
Murdered?
Yep, out on Wishbone Creek.
You might just as well get ready for another shock, Sergeant.
I can't believe it. Who'd murder Matt Lawson?
Matt had his enemies, all right.
But your friend Big Ben Barton is the man that done it.
Why, Will, Ben wouldn't.
Sergeant, we know Ben's your friend. But that ain't gonna save him now.
Now, wait a minute, Will. If Ben's guilty, he'll be punished. The law doesn't recognize friendship when a crime's been committed. But what evidence have you? You can't make a statement like that, you know, without proof.
We got proof, all right. You're darn tootin'.
No one else in the Yukon wears shoes the size of Ben's. Now, do they, Sergeant?
Well, no, I guess they don't. Ben's about the biggest man in the Yukon.
Well, the prints that was found in the snow are Ben's.
No.
Yep. It might have saved your life, but he took Matt Lawson's sure as there's a sun in the sky. Them prints are as plain as day.
No, sir. That noose is as good as around his neck right now.
Not so fast. Noose isn't around anyone's neck. Yet. What time was Matt killed? Any of you know that?
Well, we know this much. He was killed after 10 o'clock last night.
After 10, huh?
Yep. The snow stopped falling about 10, you see. So it'd have to be after that, else the prints wouldn't be there so plain.
Mm-hmm. Well, men, that should take the finger of suspicion from Ben.
Well, how do you figure, Sergeant?
Because Ben was with me last night from 9:30 till about 8 this morning. Well, what's wrong with you men?
Well, I hate to say it. I never thought...
Neither did I, Will.
Will? Sam?
You might be the law up here, but by golly, Sergeant, if you aim to let Barton off...
We'll take the law in our own hands. That's what we'll do.
You can see how we feel about it.
If you men do that, you'll be guilty of murder yourselves. I promise you this. If you're right, there won't be any need to take the law in your hands. But first, we've got to make sure an innocent man isn't punished for a crime he didn't commit.
Well...
You've got to give Ben a chance. I'll stay in Cass City till we find who murdered Matt Lawson.
You'll have to find some way to explain them prints.
We'll have to find an explanation for a lot of things. Come on, King. We've got work to do. Get the dogs up. I'll see you men later.
All right.
Goodbye.
Bye.
On King! On you Huskies! When Sergeant Preston left the small group of men, he headed his team for Big Ben Barton's cabin, further north toward the edge of Cass City. I hope he's there. I've got to talk to him. Ho, King. Ho, you Huskies. All right, King. Come on, fella. We'll see if Ben's inside.
Sergeant Preston, am I glad to see you?
Hello, Ben. I'm anxious to see you, too.
Well, come on inside. Hi there, King. Well, I guess you heard.
Yes, that's why I hurried to see you.
I don't know what to do.
Now, Ben, listen. I know you didn't kill Matt Lawson.
Ain't a soul in Cass City who'll believe me.
I just saw Will Stringer and some of the men.
I can guess pretty much what they told you.
Yes.
Well, I'm your prisoner. But I tell you, I didn't do it.
Ben, it's a frame-up.
If only I hadn't had that fight with Matt.
What fight?
Well, yesterday afternoon in the cafe. You know how them things start. I made a bet with Matt about 2 weeks ago.
Well, Matt never was one to pay off his bets.
That was why I jumped him. But he was in a mean humor. Seems he was having some trouble with the boundary on his claim or something. He cussed me out right proper. I didn't want to get in any gunplay with him, so I left the cafe. Only when I was leaving, I told him he'd pay me or else. Well, that was bad.
Under ordinary circumstances, it wouldn't be, but...
With the way things are now, I meant I'd collect that money. Shucks, you can't collect any money from a dead man. Well, money ain't much good to me now.
Who heard that fight?
Well, let's see. Will Stringer was in the cafe, and Snyder, Harkins was there. You know, the same bunch. Yep, with my luck, they was all there, and every one of them heard us arguing.
So they're basing their opinion on that argument as much as the footprints, huh?
Yep. The footprints is the thing. But how could I be at Wishbone Creek and with you at the same time?
Well, they won't believe me, Ben. Because we're friends, they think
Why, the dirty, low-down bunch of varmints, they ought to know you're straight as a come out.
Still the same old Ben, aren't you? With more trouble of your own to think of than ever, and you'll still fight for a friend.
Well, Sergeant, you know how it is. Why, we've been friends for a long time. I'd rather admit I'd done this thing than have anyone think he was trying to protect me. But gosh darn it, you ain't trying to protect me. It's the truth.
Who could have been wearing your shoes?
Huh?
Who could have been wearing your shoes? They were your footprints, were they?
Well, they were the prints of my shoes, if that's what you mean, Sergeant. I wasn't in them.
Most men in the Yukon have only one pair of boots, but you...
With me, it's so hard for me to get shoes to fit that when I sees an extra pair, I buy 'em up quick.
Well, let me see your shoes. I want to see every pair you have.
My shoes? Sure. Mind if I ask what you want them for?
Well, I don't know exactly, except that I want to see if they've been worn lately.
Here they are. Drop one. That's a lot of them. Don't own another pair except what I got on.
Which shoes were you wearing last night?
Why, the ones I got on.
You're sure?
Sure, I'm sure. Took 'em off last night beside my bed and put 'em on there this morning.
It wouldn't be hard for someone to sneak up here and borrow a pair and then put them back, would it?
I reckon not. I'm in and out of my cabin a lot, and the mud around here's been walked on too much to show any new footprints.
Let's see now. No, not these.
What do you see there?
Yeah, these shoes are wet. These are the shoes the murderer wore last night. And he stepped in one of the mud holes. They're wet inside as well as out.
Well, I'll be...
Wet and muddy. Ben, these shoes may prove your innocence.
How can they do that?
I'll get my knife out. You mind losing a pair of shoes?
Not if they'll save my neck, I don't.
Yeah, we'll soon know whether they will or not. Yeah, these shoes are well put together. Almost ashamed to cut them apart. Yeah, now we'll soon know it. Just as I thought. Hey, look here.
What?
Here. Here's the footprint of the man who wore these shoes when he killed Matt Lawson.
Say, then that proves...
This proves that we're looking for a man much smaller than you are.
Well, that foot's sure a lot shorter than mine.
Oh, he'd be, let's see, about 6 feet tall. I'd say about 180 pounds.
Well, might be almost any one of a dozen.
Yes, that's true. Now, what we want to do is line up the men who might have wanted to kill Matt. Then fit the print of their foot to the print in his shoe.
Yeah, but...
But who'd be likely to kill him?
Well...
Who'd have the chance to pin the crime on you? Someone was in the cafe yesterday and heard that argument.
Yeah, but there was a crowd there. You can't...
We want Matt out of the way. Come on, Ben, think.
Well, there's Sam Snyder, Owed Matt a heap of money.
He was in the cafe?
Yep. And Harry Knight. But him and Matt ain't been friendly for years. He wouldn't all of a sudden just
Who
up
else?
and... Well, Will Stringer. Will's claims on the same hill match was, but then they was always friendly.
Any more?
No. Listen, it'd be the barkeep, and you know Johnny didn't have nothing against Matt. One thing Matt always paid for was his drinks.
So that's 3 men. And I have a hunch that in that 3 we'll find the man who's trying to frame you, Ben.
Early the next day, 3 men gathered in Ben Barton's cabin at the far edge of Cass City. Will Stringer, Harry Knight, and Sam Snyder, any one of whom might have murdered Matt Lawson.
As soon as I got the message, I came.
Yeah, me too. Wonder what that bounty's got up his sleeve.
Oh, hard to say.
Well, I'll say this much. Barton still ain't under arrest, is he?
Wait a minute, Will. Here comes the Mountie now.
Sorry to keep you men waiting here.
It ain't the waiting we mind, Sergeant, but what's this all about? Why'd you send for us?
Yeah. Something happened?
I want all you men to step into this mud and walk across the floor on your bare feet.
What?
That's why I sent for you, Will.
It's all right with me. I'll try anything. Mind if I go first? I'd like to get this over with.
Fine. You fellas take your shoes off, too. Over here, Harry. Right in this mud here.
Like this?
Yes. Now walk across the bare floor. You ready, Sam?
I guess so. First time I ever did this. Can't say I mind long as you got a reason for it.
Will?
Oh, I'd like to know what it's all about.
Oh? We'll go into that in a few minutes. Over here first, Will.
Oh, yeah.
All right. Well, that's the lot of you. Now we'll soon know what we want.
What do you want to know?
I'll just compare these now. Nope.
Well, what's that?
Looks like part of a shoe.
Yes, it is part of a shoe. Part of the shoe the murderer wore when he killed Matt Lawson Tuesday night.
You mean Ben didn't wear them shoes?
Can't expect us to believe that. Ain't nobody here with feet that big.
It isn't unheard of for one man to wear someone else's shoes, is it?
Nobody could wear Ben's shoes.
Well, for that matter, the shoes wouldn't necessarily have to fit the man wearing them. The man who killed Matt wore these shoes. When he wore them, he forgot one thing. You see, he stepped into several of the deep mud holes around here. The water and mud went down into the shoes. So that when he stepped out of them, the print of his foot was left in them.
Say now.
One of the footprints on the floor matches the print in the shoe. Comparing them will tell who murdered Matt and who tried to frame Ben.
Well, what are you waiting for? By golly, let's get this thing cleared up.
Not so fast. You ain't comparing anything, Preston.
Will.
Put that gun down, Will.
I'm giving the orders around here now.
Will, I never...
Shut up.
So that's it, Will. I should have known when Ben told me your claim's in the same hill as Matt's that you'd have a reason for wanting him out of the way.
Now that you know, it ain't going to do you any good.
You're under arrest.
You can't talk to a man holding a gun like that, Sergeant. If I have to kill all of you, I'm going to make... Well, glad you got here, Ben. You're just in time. Shut that door. Now go on. Line up over there with the rest of them.
All right, King, attaboy.
Get the gun, sir. Get the gun. I've got Will. You get the gun.
Good work, Harry. Good work.
Swear nothing after that talk of yours knocked him over.
Will, this is the end for you.
That was pretty smart, Sergeant. No, don't mind telling you. I'm already sorry about the
That's
way...
all right, Sam. Will's conscience gave him away.
What do you mean, his conscience? It was them footprints that done it.
No, not entirely. You see, the prints on the shoe weren't plain enough to tell which of you 3 men wore them.
Well, I'll be.
Yes, King, you deserve some credit, too. The case is closed.
Challenge of the Yukon, a copyrighted feature of the Challenge of the Yukon Incorporated, brought to you every Saturday at this time, originated in the transcription studios of WXYZ Detroit. The characters and events in tonight's drama were fictitious. Bill Morgan speaking. This is the Michigan Radio Network.
Thank you for listening. Please like and subscribe.